Okay, so moving over to the other big story in Washington this week. Speaking of bitches, Kevin McCarthy no longer. The House has no speaker. What is the House going to do without a speaker?
Elect Donald Trump.
Yes, that is the big speculation now.
I couldn't believe that this has apparently never happened.
No, yeah.
I thought it was.
I thought this happened.
I literally thought this was going to be one of those things where, like, oh, this hasn't happened since the barley compromise of 1839. Like one of those bullshit things where like every politician's name was like Farley Master Gunkmeyer. It was a big deal if you nominated a Swedish person to be in your cabinet. But no, this has never happened.
I also don't think it had never that's a bad way to phrase it, but I also don't think it had ever happened where it took how many ballots to elect him in the first place? Like 18 or something. Like this is like history's most cursed.
But even that had precedent. That was one of those things where it was like, oh, that hadn't happened since 1859. Right. Which is like, yeah, okay, obviously. But like Dennis Hastert, who was, weirdest pedophilia scandal ever because he wasn't fucking kids while he was speaker. It's so weird. He did it like 50 years before.
Right.
And it's like, he's the only case I've ever heard of where it was like, he did it like once and was like, all right, got it out of my system. But then
I just wanted to try it out.
Obviously, like, people found out about it and he had to do all these weird real estate deals to like cover it up. And he was beholden to an ice cream baron in Illinois, Jim Oberweis. There was all this shit. But like, even like people didn't find out about that until it was like he was 10 years out of office. And Jim Wright, everyone knows Jim Wright in the 90s did some boring thing with an airport and had to resign. Carl Albert, the Tung Sung Park scandal. But these guys all resigned. They all resigned.
Like during the Clinton impeachment, was it like what's the guy's name? Livingston or something?
Livingston.
Yeah, like because Larry Flint published.
I wasn't born yet.
Yeah.
Kevin, he almost became speaker instead of Paul Ryan, but he was the last guy to get his career sidelined by having a regular affair with someone his age. He fucked this woman named Renee Elmers, who is like probably the last Republican ever who is like, I don't know if we should make 4-year-olds give birth. And she had to leave and he got to keep being a representative. But like, his entire career has been cursed. He's the last Republican who's like friends with Frank Luntz. And he just,
He's the last of the young guns. Paul Ryan, Eric Cantor. He was the last one still in office. And I guess he's still in office, but man, this is...
Well, he doesn't even know if he's going to stay in, which is like, I wouldn't.
Yeah, why would you?
Yeah.
You've been so roundly marked as a loser. And like, the stupidest guy in the world who probably did sex trafficking did this to you.
Yeah, I mean, well, Matt, one more thing. You bring up Dennis Hastert, which is great because take a guess who the number one guy is now. Like the big push to replace Kevin McCarthy. Who's the name being bandied about? Jim Jordan. Like basically, we see
another guy who's not exactly blameless in the sex crimes.
But also literally the exact these were both cases of a Republican guy involved with a wrestling team.
Yep.
Like Dennis Hastert was a wrestling coach who fucked kids. Jim Jordan was a wrestling coach who heard about someone fucking kids and was like, not my business.
I mean, I'm sorry, like wrestling coaches, there's something about the sport of wrestling that seems to, kind of like gymnastics or something, like something about molding young bodies that seems to encourage a certain type of sicko and attract, that bad molestation energy.
Well, on one hand, they are giving kids permanent damage by forcing 14-year-old boys to dehydrate themselves for weeks at a time. And it seems like maybe a quarter of coaches are actively molesting them. On the other hand, it's one of the biggest reasons that Americans are competitive in mixed martial arts. So who's to say is it a wash? It's kind of a wash. Do you want the sport to be dominated by Brazilians or Russians? I don't.
I just imagine like Kevin McCarthy on his way out the door, like Jim Jordan just says to him, "Hit the showers, kid." But I mean, the real star of the McCarthy ouster is, of course, Matt Gaetz, who's having he's having a real moment in the sun now. And of course, like the Republicans who are very pissed off about this are bringing up a lot of Matt Gaetz shit. And okay, so this is one. This is a guy, a Representative Mullen, who says
Nick Mullen.
Yeah, Representative Nick Mullen says,
Is this Mark Wayne Mullen?
Yeah, I think so.
Mark Wayne Mullen's an MMA fighter. An MMA fighter.
It all comes around.
He's an MMA fighter. He would. There used to be these puff pieces about him and Tulsi Gabbard like doing CrossFit together, and it was like, differences melt away when two people are doing mixed martial
When you're
arts.
jumping up on the elevated box.
Yeah, but he's his name, one word, Mark Wayne.
Yeah. So Mark Wayne says he was being accused of sleeping with underage girls. Honestly, there was no colleagues who came out and defended him because, quite frankly, the stuff he would show on the floor and brag about before he was married, we thought the allegations were reasonable, and we would always have to walk away from him. Mullen is referring to allegations previously reported where members said he liked to show them nude photos of women he slept with.
On the floor.
Yes.
This is amazing.
That's such a great thing to do as someone who's older than like 13.
Yeah.
like showing anyone like pictures of like, look, I fucked her. Look her tits. I've seen those in person.
Don't you wish you'd seen these tits in person?
Yeah, just walking up to Mark Wayne, one word. Walk up to Mark Wayne and just being like, "Smell my fingers, bro."
Yeah,
word. Yeah.
Shocker.
Yeah,
showing like Thomas Massey, a girl's puckered asshole.
But it says here,
Showing Steve Scalise someone's pussy. Also being bandied about as a potential speaker, even though it seems he's dying of cancer.
wait, who?
Steve Scalise.
That guy cannot take a hint from God. God is just keeps telling him to get out of here, and he's like, "Lord, I'll keep praying through your strength." And it's like, "No, I'm trying to kill you."
And I have been for some time.
Yeah, his dick got shot off. Trump called him fat in the hospital.
And now he's got cancer.
Yeah. And it's not like Jamie Raskin got cancer and everyone even now, like everyone came together. Like Marjorie Taylor Greene was like, I love you. I hope you go to Jewish heaven and all this shit. But like Steve Scalise, like no one gives a shit. Like I haven't seen any well wishes towards him by anyone, not even Republicans. Like no one seems to like
you're
him.
already on borrowed time. This is all gravy. Like, stop soaking up the oxygen for the rest of us.
Dude, if my fucking cock got shut off and then I got cancer and I'm still going to like this special subcommittee hearing on Coast Guard malfeasance, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like you have a family, and even if you don't like them, just like do heroin or something.
Go to your beach house.
Just a few more bits of Matt Gaetz gossip. It says Mark Wayne Mullen then said Gaetz would ridicule his elderly constituents, referring to events in his district as, quote, selling catheters, which I got to say,
that's a pretty good burn.
That's like, I got to respect that. That is a very funny way. Because selling if you were a representative in Congress, selling catheters is a perfect description of what you do to get elected. But also, if I said, finally, Mullen said the very first thing Gaetz ever said to him was that then Congresswoman, now South Dakota Governor Kristi Noem was, quote, a fine bitch. Which once again, gotta give the devil his due. Gotta give Matt Gaetz his due.
Absolutely uses the soft A on the House floor.
Kristi Noem is like, there's something like sort of CGI about her. You know what I mean? Like she is attractive, but there's something like unreal about her that I can't quite describe.
Yeah, she needs a mole or something.
Yeah. Like her skin is like just way too clear for like a 50-year-old woman.
She's no Representative Nancy Mace.
She's no
the finest,
Meg Whitmer.
the finest
Whitmer?
bitch in all of Congress.
Yeah. No one?
Gorgeous Gretchen.
Yeah, gorgeous. Or sorry, what did I say? Meg?
Yeah.
Gretchen. Whatever. You know what I mean.
It's all good. I guess
someone's got to keep getting names wrong on this show.
And obviously everyone's like, oh, like the house is in chaos. This is unprecedented. Like these people just, they want to burn it all down and laugh or whatever. I will say though, I do have to acknowledge that like the issue, like one of the main issues that's actually like being debated here, like that is at stake here, is the continued funding of the Ukraine war, which Gates is wholly against and wants to like hold up the bill that would keep the government open and not go into shutdown over funding of Ukraine. And I got to say, obviously, like the continued thing of like, oh, we're gonna have a government shutdown is absurd. But like, I have to note the irony that like Matt Gaetz is the most prominent anti-imperialist in the Congress right now.
Chapo Trap House does not care about Ukrainian.
And look,
orphans.
I look, there's no credit to him, but like I think it sucks that like even Bernie Sanders is like, oh, look, we have to keep funding Ukraine.
Like yeah, that was the thing that everyone like. That was the one thing. That was the fucking the fulcrum of all of this was like, will we keep funding Ukraine or not? There's no like even a small group of people that was like, oh, what if we like, I don't know, make a fucking public option or something? Not even Medicare for all. It's fucking funding Ukraine in this counteroffensive that isn't going anywhere. Two groups of assholes with like completely deformed World War II symbology fighting over Anytime Fitness franchise.
So like yeah, like some of the names being like I said, Jim Jordan, Steve Scalise, so funny. The guy who got his dick shot off and was previously, before getting his dick shot off, was mostly known for saying, I'm like David Duke. But like, I mean that in a good way. He like speaking at like the Ku Klux Klan convention.
And then being like, oops, I didn't know David Duke was also on the bill.
And then Jim Jordan, of course, we have already mentioned what's up with that guy.
Well, I like the guy who's the temporary speaker now.
Oh, the Orville Redenbacher looking guy?
Yeah.
No, okay. When he slammed that gavel down, that was awesome. He was so pissed off.
Yeah, he's a throwback. You know, there used to be Republicans like that all the time who wore bow ties and were like, Barack Obama, I challenge you to read Friedrich von Mises. All those guys got replaced by, hideous CrossFit instructors who, cheated on their husbands and
pedophile wrestling coaches.
Wrestling coaches.
There are only two kinds of Republican now.
Women who own diarrhea restaurants. all those guys got replaced. The only one left, Patrick McHenry and then Thomas Massey. Those are the only guys who were like, you should read Milton Friedman.
I like Adam Smith.
They would know Adam Smith.
Adam Smith is a lib. Adam Smith by now, he's a soy libtard.
Yeah. Maybe David Ricardo. Maybe.
I liked that immediately after that guy became temporary speaker, I started seeing some of the like Groyper crowd putting like the glowing eyes memes around him. And I couldn't help but be like, even you guys don't know who this guy is. You're going through the motions on these memes. You got to get a new format.
Yeah.
And it was because he was like, he kicked the Democrats out of some room. It was very pathetic.
That's American politics
it's
now.
probably like reported, he kicked the Democrats out, but he probably in practice was just like, knock, knock. Oh, I had this checked out at 4:30. Can you guys get...
Oh, yeah, like at a media startup.
I'm on the iPad.
This phone booth at 4:30, and it's actually 4:32 right now.
Clearly on the schedule, I booked the Illmatic conference room for 4:15 to 4:45.
I booked the notorious RBG phone booth. I remember at the Wing, like all of the conference rooms actually did have names like that.
I was remembering like when
like the Rosie the Riveter conference room. No one could find it though.
I just remember when Google was going to have their headquarters like right next to the Queensbridge projects in Long Island City. I was just like sweating thinking about like that they would name all of their conference rooms like Prodigy, Havoc. Like it would be other component.
They would have.
Yeah, they would have been like, it would have been all the Nas conference rooms, and that would just be.
Well, they should have a room named after my favorite Nas song, Rewind, where it starts with him. The whole conceit of the song is that it's going in reverse, and it starts with him getting his dick sucked because it's in rewind. He's like, she spits the nut back in my dick, which is like disgusting to think about.
Yeah, the most unattractive way to describe a blowjob is in reverse.